Well, I'll start by saying to you, don't sleep on Florida. Don't be fooled by those losses. But on the other hand, I have a chance to talk to Mary Wise, the Florida coach in Gainesville. And Mary, I know there's a lot of things that went into effect with those three losses, and I want to talk about them. But I was curious to know how you personally handled losing three matches in a row for the first time in 25 years. You must have been beside yourself.
I wouldn't call it the funnest week of coaching, but it, but looking back on it, actually, as we were going through it, we knew the reasons why. And first of all, you can give credit to the where credit's due. Kentucky, Missouri, and Arkansas all played very well against us. It's really easy as coaches when your team loses to put all the blame on your own side of the net, but at some point you got to give credit. And each one of those teams had players that stepped up and made great plays. But we felt that there were certain circumstances that were out of our control, and that did we step up like we needed to win those matches? Obviously we didn't, but that we could make changes, and once we could refocus, hopefully that it was going to be in the short term our team would get healthy, that we felt like we did in the very beginning of the season, that this was a team that could be much better at the end of the season than we were in the beginning.
Yeah, and not to belabor the losses, but this is correct, right? The first one to Kentucky, which, I watched that match. It was a great match. But Jiva Racek was gone with her team from Slovenia. She got back, and then when she got back, your setter, Mackenzie D'Agostino, took a shot to the noggin that took her out. And so you had that stretch there where you just understandably would have been out of sync.
Right, and though we have some depth, those were two pretty big pieces to be without. And the schedule was set up that it wasn't ideal playing the teams. I think at the time after we played Arkansas, we looked at the combined schedule of our four losses, those three and Hawaii, and I believe it was 59-6 was a combined record of those four teams. So we were playing teams that were on a roll, just played them at a wrong time for the Gators.
Well, of course, you won four in a row since, and winning at Kentucky, I'm sure, was nice. And now you have coming up Arkansas and then Missouri, so you can even that slate. But in the meantime, tell me a little bit about your team, because on the outside we see Ramat Alazan and Alex Holston, and they're so fantastic. But there's more to your team, than just that.
Yeah, we knew going into the season one of the biggest challenges would graduation of the players. And working through that, it wasn't that we didn't have talented back row players, they just were inexperienced. And so we're at a point now at halfway through the season where our back rows had more time to develop some continuity together. And so as we continue to evolve that, in the meantime, Carly Snyder and Jiva have been terrific on the left side. Carly in the Kentucky match, that double-double, she perhaps her best defensive performance of her career. Our rock, our stabilizer continues to be Simone Entry. And you mentioned Alex and Ramat and their point scoring abilities, and then Mackenzie D'Agostino, who has tracked a whole lot of miles for this team, chasing down balls in transition, but does it as hard as any setter we've ever worked with.
Yeah, she does, because you have those passing lapses like any team, and she has to get after it. Well, let's finish up on this. Back to what I originally said, which is don't sleep on Florida, because ultimately when you are all together, totally healthy, and what I presume you perceive as the last half of the season getting better and better, you have a chance to be in the discussion in late December, don't you?
We think so. And that's our goal each and every year, be playing our best volleyball in December, and you just want to be in the mix. The exciting thing for women's volleyball is there's a lot of teams in the mix. Every year we talk about how difficult an assignment would be with the volleyball committee having to make the selection. And I don't know if the selection is as difficult as the seeding. Selection was today. There are a couple of teams that you could make great arguments for top four.
Well, not just your conference, the Southeastern, but every conference, it seems, every year, but especially this year, Your guess is as good as mine. Hey, thanks so much for visiting with us, and I'm glad you got things back on track. And I look forward to seeing you here in Baton Rouge when you play LSU, and then I'll see you in Omaha, win, lose, or draw.
All right, Lee, thanks for the time.